dive in. I'm going to dive in deep, but it's things that I already told you guys in other videos. Well, one video. But speaking of other players in other videos that is linked to this situation. For instance, like Sean P. Diddy Combs, right? So you guys know I have the compilation out on Sean P. Diddy Combs. That's neither here nor there, but I want to get into it today with Didi Got a Podcast. So we're going to see what he has to say about Clive Davis. You know, I like the tea. I want to dive in deep with somebody who has some sense and somebody who can confirm all the things that I have put out to you guys regarding this situation. Allegedly. Everything is allegedly, folks. This is for educational purposes only. And so everything is allegedly. Okay, so we're gonna get into it, but he gets into it deep. So he gives the history and the background on Clive Davis and who Clive Davis was connected to, and it is all the players that we already know about. However, just Clive Davis's his excuse me, his demeanor, his the way he moves in the industry, so smooth, so slick, like a serpent, like a snake, y'all. And he was good at the craft, you know, and he knew when to like conceal and hide himself, you know. And he had people around him, because yes, it's a group, it's a sect off, SECT, sect off. You know, it's pretty hard to say, but which is a religious branch off up in that industry that all work together for this agenda. So we're just gonna get into it right now without further delay. And I know y'all like, what is she talking about? Jumping off as soon as we get into the video. Well, I'm not gonna hesitate. This is about Clive Davis. You know, he passed away, and we're gonna get into it. So, you know, he was in the occult. You know that he is a music producer and whatever other titles that he had, but he had prestige. So, you know, he had a rank up in the music industry. So, hi, God bless you. Welcome in. We're talking about Clive Davis and his history, his tarnished legacy, although they want to portray it like it's not tarnished. But however, we're going to tap into Didi Got a Podcast. This is another YouTuber, and he is speaking on the same things that I spoke on in my other videos. So it's just funny, and you know, funny in a way that yes, we're telling the truth, allegedly, okay? But about how this guy he was in the brotherhood, he was in the occult, he was an evil man. So basically, Didi Got a Podcast is saying he is the most evil man in music history. So do you guys agree? Or is it a whole bunch of them running around? It is a whole bunch of them running around, but he is definitely one of them. And now old age has caught up with him because the devil kept him real good up in the industry. So we're going to see what he has to say right now. Okay? So here we go.
Link is in the description. Please consider becoming a member.
Put it up so you guys can see it. Hold on. Listen to what he has to say, for real.
There are three people that I'd argue played the biggest roles in the rise of P. Diddy early on. A guy by the name of Andre Harrell, who worked at Def Jam and later founded Uptown Records in 1986. This is where Diddy would work for Harrell as an intern all the way to talent director.
So make sure you listen, because these are some of the players. However, their rank in the industry is not as Clive Davis, as you see. I think Andre Harrell, didn't he pass also not too long ago? But a lot of them have been taken out one by one slowly, and the only ones that is left is now who? Sean P. Diddy Combs, Lior, um, Lucian Grange. Okay, so let's continue.
Later VP of AR, where he would discover and
Hello,
help
everyone.
develop
Welcome
Mary
in.
J. Blige and Jodeci.
God bless
I was
you.
thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre
Uh-oh, she
Harrell,
finna say
I'll
it.
Be Sure, Heavy
Oh.
D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D.
And let me mind you, I'm talking about the music producers. She's talking about the artist and, Sean P. Diddy lady. So listen, it's more people in the circle already. That's just about 8 or 9, 10 people. You guys counting?
Is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left.
Now, I'm going to let her finish, but I just want to say, I want to clarify. I think these sacrifices, though, that is a combination. I think it's between Sean P. Diddy Combs and Clive. Like, I don't feel like it was just all Clive. It was because once he taught him the game, then he continued to do the same. Do you guys understand? Now, I'll get more into that in a minute, but they finna get into it for me, so I don't have to. All right.
Puffy, and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
This is also where Diddy would meet the would-be mother of his children, Kim Porter, who would mysteriously pass away many years later after she separated from Diddy.
And we know that was a hit.
Where Diddy would face similar accusations of sexual abuse, acts of violence, such as the 1991 Community College of New York celebrity basketball game that led to several people losing their lives that night. In his memoir, Notorious C.O.P., the former head of the NYPD Rap Intelligence Unit, Derek Parker, a COINTELPRO legacy program that grew directly out of Interagency Corporation and the Boss Unit, shares his first introduction to Diddy. Even before the CCNY disaster, well before he was a tabloid fixture, I became aware of Puffy, Sean Combs. He was hard to miss as he galvanized around early 90s hip-hop clubs and up the ladder of the music industry right from the bottom rung.
Hold on. And I just want to say, too, I'm going to fast forward through that because it gets deep. Okay, remember, now that event they're speaking of, that was that 1999? Okay, the symbolism, 666, okay, that was the induction for Sean P. Diddy Combs. He did his first set of sacrifices that night, allegedly. Okay, and so that's how he began to get indoctrinated, and because he already how you say, talented, he could rap. He was doing the producing thing. Then he was meeting people in the groups, in the circles. He knew how to. He was in the right spot. People were already looking at him because he was very talented. The devil came to him a long time ago. So this is how it began, and then it progressed. Okay, Sean P. Diddy Combs was Clive Davis's protege. He was his prodigy. He was his golden child. I'm telling you. Let's continue. He was his golden child.
Tom Puffy was little known outside music biz circles. He wasn't even a performer yet, but a rising A&R executive at Uptown Records who threw crazy, notoriously raucous parties at a Midtown club called Red Zone. I knew about Puffy even then because I'd always kept one foot in the music world. I'd been promoting parties and hitting the clubs, as well as performing and recording demos as an R&B singer. And then Harrell would eventually fire Diddy in 1993, but surprisingly, or not so surprisingly, for reasons completely that Diddy had become too quote-unquote cocky.
Right.
And Harrell is also the one responsible for hiring Israeli-American Lear Cohen, who has worked with several prominent figures, including Young Thug, another Masonic puppet we have covered on this channel multiple times.
You feel me?
Another major influence or mentor of Diddy's, I would have to say, is Russell.
Are you guys listening? Are you guys following this? This is the brotherhood. This is the Freemasons. This is the music industry. This is the Black Boule. this is the outfit. This is the gay mafia. Like it is still the same procedures that they're following in every type of aspect, but it's all esoteric. It's all the hidden and secret things, because they are, they're doing their craft. They're how do you say it, stonemen, the Freemason and all of that. They are going and performing rituals daily, in groups with suits on, performing witchcraft, but not the black magic, the boogity boogity boo boo, like you think. But although yes, they doing that too, but it's a time and a place for that type of thing. But I'm just saying, right now, since it's all demonic. So what I'm trying to say is, it's the Hunger Games. What they need to do in order to move up and to progress is they need to take lives. You get it? Because these lives that they is taking, it's money attached to the lives. And then it's ritualistic on top of that, because you got to feed these deities, you got to feed these demons that you praying homage to. Look at the record labels. We gonna get into it, and they gonna show you, and then you're gonna understand more of what I'm talking about. And if you know, you know. Okay.
Simmons, maybe more so indirectly,
and
who I
hello,
have loosely
everybody.
covered in the past, along with his allegations against him in my Oprah video. Go and check that out when you get a chance. Simmons is co-founder of Def Jam Records, responsible for hiring Andre Harrell, who, by the way, was loosely tied to organized crime at the previous news station he worked at prior to joining Def Jam. And within 2 years at Def Jam, Andre Harrell moved up the ranks extremely and unusually fast to become VP in the music industry as well. But part of the reason Def Jam was so successful at the time was due in part to its 1984 distribution deal with CBS and its subsidiary, Columbia Records, run by their Jewish owner, Walter Yetnikoff, who will...
So y'all think I'm crazy, huh? Okay, what did you just see right now? The all-seeing eye. Okay, the homage. Okay, the boule, and then we have the other Freemason for that. People that are not of color, and but it's all one union. It's all one brotherhood, branch to branch, sect to sect. They're moving through the ranks, hierarchies. They have to perform these rituals behind the scenes in order to move up, to get the hidden and secret knowledge of fame, fortune, riches. Okay, Satan, Lucifer. Come on, keep up.
Come up later in this video for an extremely interesting and important reason that you don't want to miss. But this Walter guy worked with all the music icons such as Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney, James Taylor, and the list goes on. But he was also a close friend of another guy by the name of Clive Davis. Clive Davis, I would argue, is the third and most influential groomer and mentor of not only Sean Diddy Combs' career, but also his behind-the-scenes inappropriate behaviors, allegations, and tactics.
And what did he just say? His tactics, his inappropriate behavior, and whatever else had going on. But he had pull, he had status, and he was able to do that. And things were cultivated around him, and he also cultivated the air, the environment, because he had that power. He was connected.
This, Clive Davis will be the sole focus of today's video. In fact, what many people don't know and will learn in this video is that Clive Davis's rise and dominance in the music industry is 100% tied to organized crime and intelligence agencies.
Okay, now what? Now, it's not too far-fetched what I just said, huh? Let me rewind that. Now listen.
100% tied to organized crime and intelligence agencies. And I will prove
the
that
CIA.
In this video. Usually recognized as a pioneer and a legend in the music industry, Clive Davis has also been called an evil master puppeteer, accused of controlling artists' lives, using them until they were no longer any good to him, then disposing of them, and accused of sex.
Okay, I guess he's saying it nice. Because I have to talk how I talk. I don't know how else to talk, but just English how I talk, right? He's saying it nice. So you heard what he just said, though. What did I just say? He's saying it nice, though. How they get their power, because these are witch doctors, you all. These are warlocks. These are your shamans. These are your real devils messing with spirits and spiritism and things of this nature. Actors. If you look up the definition of actor, we ain't gonna get on that right now. But the whole industry is set up already spiritually, demonically. It's inspired by Satan. He is the Lucifer, the morning star, the one that fell. I mean, this is his industry, his work him. So he's here on earth and he is in a region. He has Hollywood on lock. So it's orchestrated demonically. Everything is it has some kind of ancient attachment to it. They love Egyptian deities, okay? They love the Greek gods, Horus, Osiris, just to name a few of them. Baphomet, that's the nasty screwdriver in the butt, okay. What else? Because they have to do the MK Ultra, so they need these type of high ranking demons and deities to give them this demonic power to keep this beast system going up in the industry. And this is how Satan is telling these people to move and operate, because they're under a spell. These people are sorcerers, they're under witchcraft, and it's built on that. And people are just now finding out, but it's been there. That's why things are being exposed and revealed to us now over and over again, because people don't get it. They don't want to believe, or they turn a deaf eye, a blind, or however you say it. They turn a blind eye and they deaf ear. Okay, yeah, this is what they do because they can't comprehend. But it's they not even hiding it no more. They is flexing their power. And they taking everybody out one by one. If it's your number up, you gotta go. Okay, you did your time. Okay. Man, just listen. Okay, let's continue. But I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. He said it in a nice way. I said it in the way I had to say it. So, but listen. All right.
Been called an evil master puppeteer, accused of controlling artists' lives, using them until they were no longer any good to him, then disposing of them.
What did he say? Using them until they were no longer good for him, and then disposing of them. Now, what did I just say? All right. I'm glad he said it nice.
Accused of sexually, financially, and psychologically exploiting.
And ritual, to perform these rituals, this abomination and all of these things to get this high power and this secret knowledge and all this money, fame, and all this debauchery and all this. Okay, they have to do it a certain way. It has to be in a certain order. You will never know who is on top of who is hiding. It's always somebody on top of somebody on top of somebody on top of somebody. So now you have to start paying attention to the signs and the symbolism. Do you understand, folks?
Many people in the music industry. Former CEO of Death Row, Suge Knight, even claims himself that, quote, Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, and Andre Harrell used alcohol and drugs to compromise Combs' manhood.
Bam. Now, we never heard that before. P. Diddy is a monster, right? Okay, but I wondered how. We know Clive Davis groomed him. We know that. And other people abused him too. But we never knew. We know what he did to folks too. But we never knew what exactly happened to him. Like, it was never, it never came out. So now they saying it. You know how he allegedly spikes people's drinks with drugs and, and gets down and does the demonic thing, right? Okay, the diabolical thing, the parties at night, right? Okay, look. Didn't we just say it's a pattern? Pay attention to the patterns, folks. It happened to him. They just put it out. Did you just hear that? Okay, let's continue. They just said it. That's never been spoken. Okay, God bless everybody.
Davis that quote Clive Davis financially and psychologically exploiting many people in the music industry. Former CEO of Death Row Suge Knight even claims himself that quote Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, and Andre Harrell used alcohol and drugs to compromise Combs's manhood.
Who did it? Wait, listen. They naming the players. Listen. Let's listen.
Many people in the music industry. Former CEO of Death Row Suge Knight even claims himself that quote Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, and Andre Harrell used alcohol and drugs to compromise Combs's manhood.
Oh. By threes. Those was the players. They got him that night. They did the Baphomet on him that night. Okay, let's continue.
Banning Clive Davis that waited into his 80s to admit in his memoir, showing the one-eye symbolism on the cover, by the way, that the wildly popular decades-old rumor was true, that he was bisexual. What other rumor did Clive Davis hold back from sharing as true? This video will cover the music industry, Clive Davis, and the individuals that directly inspired Sean Diddy Combs, their connection to criminal enterprises, drugs, the occult, Freemasonry, rituals, blackmail, lies, and even abuse.
Okay, say that again. What I tell you?
Music industry, Clive Davis, and the individuals that directly inspired Sean Diddy Combs, their connection to criminal enterprises, drugs, the occult, Freemasonry, rituals, blackmail, lies, and even abuse.
Okay, all right. Hold on, guys. Danger. Commercial. Yeah, but you guys heard it though. Okay, the occult, blackmail, abuse, things of that nature, and whatever else. One more thing, everything though.
Yeah, and that is just the intro.
Right.
That is just the first 5 minutes of an hour-long documentary. I have a YouTube version,
but it's
and then I have
new.
A Patreon version, which, by the way, I plan to play just a snippet of the Patreon version because it'll be relevant to a person we'll be discussing in this video as well. Link is in the description to that documentary. Link is also link to the Patreon can also be found to ending. Then make sure that you're notified. Probably not before.
Hold on, guys.
Because
I want to get to the nitty gritty.
I'm covered. Michael Jackson biopic.
I don't want to talk about Michael Jackson. I don't know what's all on his video.
But
I wanted to point.
I believe that it's no coincidence that Clive Davis was around for so long. I do believe a handler of Diddy, that being.
This is his input.
And I covered other topics as well. In today's video pertaining to Clive Davis, once again, I could easily make the argument is the most evil man in music history. Yeah. At least publicly, right? Front-facing wise. Because I do believe he had masters.
He's one of them, guys.
And people that he answered to. I do believe that Clive Davis was a plant himself. Right? I believe a lot of these guys, I believe he was a handler of Diddy, that being one of the people that I believe he helped handle. But I believe that
I don't now see, I beg to differ. I don't agree. I do not believe Clive Davis was a plant. I believe he's in the Brotherhood. He's a Freemason. And he went into his craft. And you know, they like to be well off. They want fame, fortune, and riches. You remember the scripture when when Satan had took Jesus to the high mountain and he told him, what did he tell the Lord? He told him, bow down and worship him and he'll give him all the kingdoms of the world, or whatever he said. Don't quote me because I don't have my Bible out. But the Lord was like, like, get behind me, Satan, because, I am the Lord. What you mean? All of this belongs to me anyway. But I'm saying the scripture is pertaining, the Freemasons use that scripture also. Did you not know that? That is the introduction. That is the appeasing thing that they show to common folk and to common men like me, you, and people in general who are ambitious and, you know they don't know that this is a death cult, and they don't know that you're literally working for the devil. Like, you enter into the spiritual demonic kingdom realm, like it's a portal, like Hollywood is a portal, right? And the players there, they're controlled, right? So what, and it's a whole orchestration. It's like a military. It's very organized. So, and it goes to the spiritual. It overlaps into the spiritual realm. It's a connection there. Do you know, like, okay, I don't want to get into that, but what I'm trying to say is, no, I don't feel that he was a plant. I feel that he went into his craft too. Did you guys know that Clive Davis was a lawyer before he got into the music industry? Did you guys know that? Clive Davis was a lawyer. So he carried that into the music industry. This is why he knew the legal system, the justice system. This is why he was in the background committing them rituals, doing them sacrifices, allegedly, and was getting away with it because he had the brilliance, the expertise, and the justice system, the government, behind him. Let's continue. Come on now.
It's no coincidence that Clive Davis was around for so long. I do believe that it's not a I do not believe it's a coincidence that he was able to allegedly, just to protect myself here, allegedly commit several crimes, including participating in something
saying
called
it's so
payola,
nice,
which is where they would go and pay people to play records at these stations, these radio stations, which is illegal, right? And he is involved in one of the, I believe the biggest one back in the 90s, may have been 93, 94, I forget.
Spoiler alert, they all did that. They all did that, folks. They all did that because that's like, not, how could I say it, not a loophole, but that's something that you learn to get over on people to get their money. It's just another way, something that they know. It's a part of their craft to deceive and to steal. You to steal, kill, and destroy.
Right? But we're going to react to, we're going to read a couple of articles. We're going to react to some videos that are very important. But before we get into anything, let's go and read the article that talks about this gentleman, Clive Davis. And
this article he's about to read, I also have another video on Clive Davis, and I believe it's in my live. You guys can go check it out, but it speaks on this article too. It's just giving who Clive Davis was.
His passing, all right? All righty. Let's see. Why is there such a huge advertisement here? Let's refresh the page. Okay. Prayers up. Legendary music mogul Clive Davis passes away at 94. This is what Clive Davis looks like, obviously. All right.
And for you guys that don't know, okay, so I talk about the occult. I speak of the hidden and secret things of just the world in general, right? Okay, so I'm in Deliverance Ministry. That's my channel. So make sure you guys subscribe and you hit a thumbs up, right? But I said that to say this. Okay, he's gonna get on the occultic things now. So, well, let's listen a little bit more and then we'll continue. I'll say what I need to say.
So it says legendary music mogul Clive Davis passes away at 94. This is what Clive Davis looks like.
This is what I wanted to say. I lost my train of thought. Okay, so you know these people are esoteric, right? You know they practice the Aleister Crowley, the Thelema law, right? They're in that, right? Okay, and they're warlocks, right? So what I'm trying to say is they do things according to the moon, according to Saturn, and things of this nature. So the witching hour and season it's in right now. So also I want to say is look at the symbolism. He aged 94. 9 plus 4 is 13. Okay, that is a occultic number. Let's continue.
Obviously. All right. So it says legendary music mogul Clive Davis has passed away at the age of 94.
Right.
According to TMZ, the outlet confirmed the passing of Clive Davis on Monday, June 22nd. Furthermore,
Hi,
on
God
Monday
bless you.
morning,
Welcome in.
a post was shared via Davis's official Instagram, which read in part, "To the world, our father was the iconic music legend whose vision, instincts, and relentless pursuit of excellence shaped the soundtrack of countless lives. Today, we celebrate not only a towering figure whose influence changed music forever, but the man who led our family with grace, generosity, and kindness. We will miss him greatly, cherish him always, and carry his love with us for the rest of our lives." Per the outlet, Davis passed away.
I don't know who's missing them. Are you guys missing them? I don't know. It seemed like I had a grin on my face when I knew that the evil had passed. Forgive me.
In his home in New York City. At this time, his cause of death reportedly remains unclear. However, it was recently reported that he had been hospitalized, quote, with an upper respiratory infection before being discharged on June 4th. All right, so there is a good chance that this may be the reason.
And you know, I can't say that okay, you know, because he's clearly old, so almost 100, right? Yeah, right. So, but still, what I'm trying to say is, Satan still puts his demonic finger on you and give you a number when you're gonna pass. He kept on working for the devil. The devil was pleased with him, so the devil let him work his contracts to the end. Clive Davis allegedly was taking lives all the way to the end, all the way to his grave, to the deathbed, because he was sold out to Lucifer. You get what I'm trying to say? So look at the symbolism. He died at 94. 9 plus 4 is 13. They were pleased with him. That is the occultic number in the secret society. One of the numbers, that is. Okay, 13. They were pleased. The devil was happy with Clive Davis.
But it is also important to note that it is the summer solstice. If you do not know what the summer solstice is, then you may definitely be new to this channel. But it is the summer solstice that explains, allegedly, why producers such as Tay Keith, a very popular producer in the hip-hop scene,
and go on, after you guys watch this, go check out my Tay Keith video in the videos. I just put it out maybe like 1 to 3 days ago. So go check that out. I got a Tay Keith video on that producer who was, well, they say he passed at 29. Let's continue.
Space has most notoriously worked with people like Drake,
everybody.
Probably the biggest name he's worked with the most.
Everybody.
He's worked with Beyonce, he's worked with Sexy Red, and several other artists as well, including Travis Scott. All right. And the summer solstice is something we've covered many times on this channel. It's typically where you see celebrities pass away. For those of you that may be new to this channel or may be a little skeptical of the language and the sort of things that we allude to, yes, it is possible for celebrities to pass away without a conspiracy being attached to it. Absolutely is possible.
But knowing that we know their industry that they are in, this industry is a death cult, and this is how it operates. This is how it feeds. This is how it, you know, like, you know, a bike chain. Like, just imagine the beast system in the entertainment industry. Like, it feeds on blood. Yeah, for real. Okay.
But knowing how things work, as humans, we typically notice patterns, all right? And I do find it interesting that he passed away during this time of the year, all right?
And I just gave y'all the numbers. I just broke it down.
Something I found interesting here. Let's go down a little bit more. It says, see the full post shared via his official Instagram below. So here's his Instagram, Clive J. Davis. I wonder what the J stands for. if you catch the joke, you catch it. All right. So
I'm slow.
here's
Who
the
caught it?
post, 18,000
I'm
likes.
slow.
But it says here. Now let me see how this shows up on you all's end. Okay, I can make that a little bit bigger. I'm pretty sure.
And I'm gonna scan through some of
Houston of
this.
Alicia Keys, Carrie Underwood,
Okay.
Kelly Clarkson, and more. All
Yeah,
right.
look, and what's so
And
crazy
here are some of the
is,
comments. It
listen,
says,
I got to get to Kelly. No, okay, Kelly Clarkson. Okay, that's the white singer. Okay, you know what I was thinking about? Kelly Price is having demonic trouble too. Witchcraft. She was sold for a price. Since she was little is what she found out through her family, because sometimes the family, the bloodline is connected to through the industry because for money, like they did Usher, like they did Bieber. Okay, so see, just put it all together. Is y'all following this? Look at all the people who he had under him, who he was to groom, allegedly get profit off of, make a big fallen star so they can get their fallen star on the Walk of Fame, the Walk of Shame, Hollywood, right? The indoctrination, the induction to know that you're in Satan's kingdom. That is the mark right there. That is Hollywood's mark for their fallen stars. When you get that star, you are inducted, you are indoctrinated, you are under full witchcraft, and you are under the authority of the devil. Let's continue.
documentary gonna be longer than a CVS receipt. That just these examples are just going to show you the reputation of Clive Davis. It says, okay, Brandy, now what did the letter say? I'm ready for the documentary. Hopefully these NDAs ended too. And
Remember that letter, y'all?
don't care. Long live Whitney. Long live Whitney. So as you can see, Whitney Houston is a name that...
And we already know that was Clive Davis's sacrifice also. But remember, the powers that be, allegedly, they try to set that up to take the heat off Clive and put it on Ray J. Remember, Ray J at the time of the party, was it the Grammys party or whatever? And then, you know, Whitney, woo woo, she unalive, woo woo, in the tub, woo woo, at the same time, and they didn't stop the show. They kept it rolling. Look, remember, Ray J was running out, distraught, like he had to get, because that was a setup, y'all, because they had us thinking the whole time that was Ray J's sacrifice. Remember, they try to put it out there like Ray J had the pills because that was his best friend and he was kicking it with Whitney. Remember that, y'all. The setup. Woo! The powers that be. Don't come for me. All right, let's continue.
Notoriously comes up, and we're going to cover that later in the video, because one of the biggest things that's attached to Clive Davis's name is the death of Whitney Houston. For those of you that don't know, Whitney Houston would pass away, I believe, on the same night of, I believe, the Grammys night. I believe they were having some sort of Grammy celebration party. But we're going to play the clip because I did cover that in the Clive Davis documentary as well.
Wow.
But what's important to note is the suspicion around her death, just like there was suspicion around Michael Jackson.
It was more than suspicion because they publicized. See, there is a rule in the spiritual realm. The rule is now, since the Lord has made it be known that he is exposing evil and passing judgment, right? He's passing judgment on the rich oppressors. So this is what I want to say. They have to show you what they're doing. Through their symbolism, and basically if you catch it, you catch it. If you don't, you don't. They are going to continue because they are the powers of evil. But what I'm trying to say is, this is why you swear that you saw something crazy and you're like, nah, that ain't. And then you start putting these patterns together, and then you be like, didn't he unalive like that? Didn't she unalive like that? Didn't he unalive like that? Didn't she? And then by then it's unmistakable. Like, you can't deny. But at the same time, they gonna keep on doing what they got to do because they got agendas and goals to reach. Okay, they have a deity to worship. And I'm saying all the devils. I'm saying all the people that are ran by the devils. I'm saying this thing is orchestrated. This thing is already built up to run the way that it's running. It doesn't matter who gets in its way. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have emotions. This thing is driven by the evil one. So I said that to say this. Whitney Houston, her funeral, what are you talking about right now? Why did they bury her in a King Tut casket? What? Do y'all remember that? Remember, Ray J was at the funeral crying, going crazy. Remember? He couldn't barely even hold his composure. And he got up and I think he walked out of something. But when they was carrying her in or they was carrying her out, they had Whitney Houston in a Egyptian King Tut casket. You can't make this up. This is the ancient occult. This is these Egyptian deities that these people worship and are giving homage to. And she is a product and or a slave that was a part. She was a puppet that, whatever you want to label, whatever. Her handlers, whatever's going on. But she was in the cauldron pot. And she had a number and we know who took her out, allegedly. But I'm saying it is because of witchcraft. These people are worshiping these devils. This is how they get paid. This is how they have their fame, their fortune, their money, their livelihood, everything. And then when Satan uses them up and the contracts are all used up or all fulfilled, then Satan takes everybody out. One by one by one. Let's continue.
For my knowledge, had nothing to do with, but my point is, these high-level celebrities, right, who pass away under very suspicious circumstances, continue to have these people attached to their death. And in this case, Clive Davis is attached, and you're going to learn why. And even if you know why, you may learn something new later in today's live. But this one right here, you see, this says, okay, Brandy, now what did the letter say? Now, for those of you that don't know,
what that letter
are not familiar with what this person is referring to, let me show you. So there's an infamous video of Brandy slipping a letter to Whitney Houston while she was interviewing. She was in the middle of an interview with Clive Davis.
And why did they publicize that? See, they're showing us what they are doing, and they doing it anyway because they can't be stopped, and they won't be stopped, just like P. Diddy said.
Or I should say, Whitney Houston slipped a letter to Brandy. And to this day, publicly, we've never been able to see what that letter said. She's never talked about it. She's kept it a secret. And a lot of people believe it's because it was related to Clive Davis, and it was supposed to warn Brandy about who Clive Davis is, what he's about, and that maybe she was in danger, because not long after that, obviously, as we know, Whitney Houston would unfortunately lose her life, which...
They're all in danger. They're all in danger. This is a death cult. This is the Hunger Games. This is no holds barred. This is the gladiator sports. This is the Thelema law. This is the do it thou wilt. They have no feelings and emotions. It is like chess and checkers. Everyone is trying to step on somebody else to get in a higher position and move you out the way by any means necessary. And the higher the sacrifice, the more praise and the more rooms and doors open for you to walk in and enter and be amongst higher deities and higher level people around the world. And then you learn other deep, like a Jay-Z. Okay, let's continue. Like a Michael Jordan.
The date that she lost her life is very interesting as well, which, once again, I'm going to cover that later in today's live. But for now, I just want to refresh you all's memory, who may be aware, And I want to introduce this clip to you all that may have never seen this. Check it out.
Sound too low? Here's how to fix it. Open Sound Max.
Hold on.
Instant volume.
Yeah, I apologize. We can't have these commercials up in here. Let me scan it out. They trick us every time, y'all. Here we go. Uh-oh, I'm sorry.
The fact that she opened it immediately right there, I'm not the something like that. If you slip something to me, then it's just for me. People have done this with me before. I'm not going to open it where someone else can see it. So either Brandy was just that green or that unaware, or I just don't know why you would just open it right there. But check out her face after she opened the letter.
She can't, well, I wouldn't have opened it right there either. But obviously she don't know all the rules in the game because she's moving up the rank too. So she's a part of the sisterhood, also. She's in there too. So what I'm trying to say is take an oath. Like she's bound by secrecy. So it's the same thing for her also, okay? So let's continue.
Why she look like that? Let's do it one more time. You see her face?
Because it's the game.
Why is Brandy looking like that?
Let me tell y'all what y'all see.
That's...
These people are so demonic and evil. This is a game being played. This is their game. This is Clive Davis's game. This ritualistic thing that's happening right now in front of y'all with that paper, whatever message it was from some higher up. But I'm saying there's a group. It's powers that we are not seeing that is orchestrating this whole thing for common folk like us to see. They want us to draw a conclusion. They want us to draw a conspiracy. But as we dig deeper and do our studying to show ourselves approved, we begin to look at the symbolism, the signs, and the patterns. And this is how we learn what is really going on. And then Jesus Christ tells his people first. That's why we know about all this occultic stuff before it happens. We told y'all first, but it takes somebody else, for y'all to see it. And so let it be. But I feel like that's a ritual going on right there. This is what I'm trying to say. I feel like it is the beginning of the ritual, because soon after we know Whitney was unalived. Let's continue. Let's see how it plays out.
It's weird. This is for you.
And Clive right in the middle.
Okay.
Look, he knows what's going on.
She keeps a little fake smile going for the camera. She's looking down at this letter.
Look.
It has to be important.
I'll see you later. I'm going to Mom, come see her.
Sorry,
Come see how you got your, okay? Come see how you got that.
Look.
So that's the clip that has circulated across the internet for years.
That's a throwback.
And as you can see, there's a big reason why. All right?
Because they're revealing things.
And so
now. It's being exposed.
I'm trying to decide what I want to get into
Dead
first.
now. Unalive.
Before we talk about the Diddy piece, we're also going to discuss Ray J as well in this video. I can't wait to get to him because he's trending right now, which I think is also very ironic. Ray J is trending in the streaming world. All of a sudden, he has the money to buy other streamers very expensive McLaren.
It's not his money. He's
cars,
working
such
for
as
it.
The McLaren.
He's a
Don't
slave.
know if that's just for...
I have a Ray J video. All check out those. Go check out the shorts. But he's playing the game too. He's a slave. He's more or less like they're treating him like an Orlando Brown because he has tried to come against the powers that be. He tried to break the oath, if you notice, about like 6 to 8 months ago. And he thought his life was in jeopardy. And then I believe that they did attempt to show him that we can take you out. And so with his health and remember with his heart and all of that, these people are the CIA, the Skull and Bones, allegedly. So what I'm trying to say is They have military tactics that's been around for not centuries, that's been around for decades. What I'm trying to say is these military, like, have you ever heard, remember the old dirty bastard before they, yeah, him too, remember? And that the government did, allegedly did that, right? What I'm trying to say is because of his blood, something having to do with him being Indian and also him breaking the oath too, right? Exposing, right? When it wasn't time, he wasn't supposed to do that, so they took him out because he didn't go down with the game. He was not playing the game. He didn't know how serious it was that these people had this type of powers. And I want to say, what do you call that, technology. They have the technology to implant you with stuff. That's why Kanye West said they was playing with his brain. They had him on that lab table, poking his butt in his brain, messing with him, because they torture these folks. They torture these people. You all in labs and stuff like this. I'm not kidding. I get this stuff from the spiritual realm. This is how the demonic is operating. You need to know. So, go check out that movie Hostile. Okay, now UFO disclosure by our government. We never thought that we'd see the day, but let's continue. Ray J, yeah, they warned him, so now he on the path, slaving out, to get back in good grace and standings. Okay, so they gonna work him through his butt. That's why he had to come out saying that he was LGBT, he had, because they are dogging him out. Okay, so let's get off that, let's continue. But I just want to say that also, think about it, put it together.
Sure, not, but we're going to, I saw on, I'm going to give a shout out to Black Balloon. Shout out to the YouTuber Black Balloon. I watched a little bit of his coverage. He did a great job. But there's a video that I had never seen before that I actually want to react to with you all. And it is of the gentleman, Sean Ryan. You all know who Sean Ryan is.
God bless you.
I believe he's
Welcome in,
quote-unquote
everybody.
ex-CIA, which there's no such thing.
See?
I'm a bit skeptical of Sean Ryan as well.
Okay, what did you just say about the CIA? I'm telling you, these fraternities, these sororities. I mean, these are the groups, the Lumen. Excuse me, y'all. I'm talking too fast. The Illuminati. Adam Weishaupt, 1776. The Illuminati. Okay, it's been there, it's here, it's established, and it's just operating already like it knew that it would operate. They're ahead of their time. They messing with CERN, Area 51, things of this nature. They're conjuring, they're invoking. This is what they're doing, okay, for the takeover. This is what these people believe. And they just got their hands in everything: healthcare, child care, employment, the music, your entertainment now, because the indoctrination, you got to hear it through the airways, through the broadcast system. All right.
But he interviewed a gentleman a while back. And we're gonna react to this because I had some thoughts that I haven't heard anyone else share. It says Clive Davis, the mastermind behind the P. Diddy monster. I definitely agree with that. So let's sort of get into this, and I'm going to give you all my opinion based on the research that I've done on Clive Davis.
P. Diddy has been getting away with all kinds of stuff. There was that shooting that he walked from. We've seen some clips of him beating on women. I mean, that's pretty standard operating procedure for him. But now there's 8 lawsuits that have been filed against him for sexual assault.
Excuse me. The music industry is evil by nature, right? You have to play their game in order to be a part of the game,
What did
right?
I just say?
You have to play the game.
Man.
And even the people in the
Hallelujah.
industry do not like Clive Davis. What should that tell you? Most people in the music industry are snakes, right? They're backstabbers.
Come on, y'all.
They're vultures, right? They'll use the word God loosely in their speeches, but their music does not reflect that, right?
No, and their God that they worship, you will see many times, okay, or you will see many times, okay, or you will see many times, okay. So pay attention. Symbolism, patterns. You guys got it. Come on.
Most High says that he'll know us by our fruits, right?
Tell them.
And the music industry bears bad fruit.
Right.
There's a reason for that. And even the people in the industry, according to this guy, didn't even like Clive Davis. And we're gonna substantiate those claims throughout this live today to prove why it is that so many people, even the corporates in the industry, had this strong disdain for Clive Davis.
Let me tell you why first, because okay, this is Deliverance Ministry 101. So that's why, because I have to tell y'all. So look, they don't like Clive Davis, right? Because he's a demon in the industry, like them, right? They're all demons. Demons run in gangs, okay, and they don't like each other, but they work with each other, but then they become jealous of each other by demonic nature, so they begin to step on one another to get higher up than the military rank. Let's continue.
Yes. So this is the part of the conversation I wanted to speak to the most, because this always just baffles me, man. Just in all honesty, this blows my mind that
this dude is pretty
smart. The way
smart.
some people could frame this is, or maybe Sean Ryan just isn't into the music industry as much. Maybe as well vetted, right? Well researched. You don't have to be. I think this is very disingenuous to pretend that it's some outrageous claim. Not that he called it outrageous, but to say, do you really think that the government's interested in? Why would they not be?
Right.
It would be more confusing if they were not.
Look, they run in the jails through the rappers, the slaves too. They're lucrative. These slaves are literally, this is modern day slavery, but it's really trafficking. That's what it is too. Like, it's running and cultivating and moving the world, you all. And I ain't gonna say too much on that, but it's trafficking, and it's all connected. That's what it is.
That being the CIA, the FBI, yeah. It doesn't matter. NASA, I don't care. Ooh. Of course you have some sort of interest, right? There is some sort of benefit of being involved, or even controlling the entertainment industry. Why? Because it controls the masses. It has
the broadcast system, folks.
It's popular in society, what people are listening to, what people, have a likeness for. These things are extremely important. It tells us
what to do, folks. That's what he's trying to say. It indoctrinates the masses. Your kids, my kids, your uncle, your cousin, your mom, your daddy. It indoctrinates everyone. That's why when it's time, like Kamala Harris and all of them, who did they have on there? What was her name? Megan Thee Stallion. Or remember during COVID with the jab, okay, who did they have? They had the Hot Boys. They had, what was his name? I'd be singing, I like that, nah, nah, nah. I don't know, but I don't listen to secular rap. But you guys, Juvenile, they had him advertising. Remember him and Mia X from Bout It. They had them advertising the jab. Remember, but they made them take it though. Right? Okay, come on, you guys. These people are controlled. This is to fund their lifestyle, their income, where they live, everything. The black card. Okay, let's continue.
Important. And I did a little bit of research, and I want to remind everybody that the CIA's public. This is just what they've admitted to. All right, this is just what they've admitted to in the past.
If you're so profitable, why do you sell a core?
Hold on, guys. They threw a wrench in our Let me get past this. Here we 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. There we go.
Their involvement in the secretly funded, that is until they later admitted to it. They secretly funded and promoted cultural organizations as part of the Cold War.
Wow.
So
come on now.
As far back as the Cold War.
Get deep.
To showcase American artistic freedom and counter Soviet influence. This became public in the 1960s and 1970s, and you can look this up. They had an active involvement, right? Because it's important how we feel about certain wars. It's important how we feel about what we fall in
brainwashing.
The largest
brainwashing, folks,
right? As it pertains to other countries, continents. It's important how the people that
because we are the bullies. America is the bullies. We are the first superpower. We are the first superpower. China is the second. Okay? They got the technology, but we got the military. We are the first superpower. Don't ever forget it. Okay?
As living here, how we view ourselves, how we think about our country, because if we start to believe that we are the bad guy, that we are the bully, the people could turn on the government, right? And a major example that was given is something called Congress for Cultural Freedom. Look this up, Congress for Cultural Freedom. And this organization sponsored artists, different intellectuals, magazines, and cultural events worldwide while receiving covert CIA funding. Say the CIA was backing this organization because they had an agenda, they had a motive. Right? Other examples, and many of you all are older than me, so you may be well aware of these things.
Yes.
John Lennon. The FBI monitored John Lennon extensively in the 19 because the Nixon administration viewed his anti-war activism as politically influential.
Well, we already know that they took out Kennedy. Okay.
Right? Jimi Hendrix. Famous guitar player Jimi Hendrix. Don't think I need to introduce that guy. They need to do an entire video on him.
Right. Everybody's under witchcraft
and
control.
Where he came from and his family.
And witchcraft is control. Witchcraft is also a form of control. It's just not all black magic, hoodoo, white magic, spells, incantations, and invoking and things of that nature. Witchcraft is also control.